Hello! I'm Wade, Creed, and this is Slightly Mediocre.
Where we do things half-assed because we care about you, the fans, but we kind of don't care in general.
It's all about the quality, you know, as long as you have heart. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Like our lighting right now is a garage door opener and a flashlight.
And the garage door just went out.
Yeah, the garage door opener bulb just went out.
But hey, so today's episode, we're going to be delving into the wide world of the Karate Kid.
Karate!
So these films, majority of them were back in the day. We're talking about the original ones and the rebooted movie.
We'll get to the reboot in here in a minute.
So we're going to talk about the originals first. So we're talking about, one with Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita. Mm-hmm. We're going to be talking about those films. We've seen them. I have not seen the fourth one, the one with where Ralph Macchio is not in it. I don't know if you've seen that one. That one with a girl.
That is one I've seen. I've only seen it once, just because when I originally saw it, I saw it. I don't want to say recently, but okay. I did see it in my early teens, so I do still vaguely remember it. Okay. I wasn't too stoked about it just because of the fact that Ralph Macchio wasn't in it, and it felt just cheap.
Yeah. It did have Pat Morita in it, and he's a great actor. Rest in peace, great actor. But we're going to talk about the first film and how it's all started out. So, for those of y'all who have not seen the film, please go watch it. It's a national treasure.
It is beyond a national treasure. Nick Cage needs to find it and then go take it to the Smithsonian. Yeah. But on top of that, it's almost the eighth wonder of the world, I would say. It is a really solid movie.
And these films are, they're all great films. They give a good message. And they're all, what I like most about them also, especially the first one, it has all that, old school vibe to it, like, in the 80s, 90s vibe. Well, 80s mainly.
It was 80s.
Yeah, and like the old school vibe, the way they dressed, the way they talked. That was the coolest part about it for me also, aside from the whole karate stuff, which I like. But, just the way that it was all about, like, just delving into that time period, which is a little bit before us. It's always pretty cool. I've always liked that time period. And, the next two films, while they weren't as good as the first one, they were pretty good. Like, the second one, they go to Okinawa, and they see, Mr. Miyagi's hometown, and they do all that stuff there. And then the third one, they go back to the States, and they open, like, a bonsai shop or something. Yeah. And then the fourth one, we delved into that. But wait, so for the first one, what struck you the most about it?
Well, the first movie, the main thing about the movie was when I first saw this movie, I was personally going through my own kung fu training. Wow. I am currently a black belt in kung fu. Yeah, it's great. Or black sash actually in kung fu. But the thing is when I saw this movie, I was going through a hard time where I was like, I want to continue with my training, but at the same time I don't, just because other things getting in the way and everything like that. And then I ended up renting this movie from a Blockbuster. Wow! That tells you how long ago it was.
There's one left. One left.
There's one Blockbuster left. Although by the time this airs, there might not be any left.
The owner, I heard, so the owner, we're kind of doing off topic, but the owner of that Blockbuster apparently is hell-bent and determined to stay. And he's got a good following. So people come from all over to that town. I think it's in like somewhere in the Midwest. And he's like the only Blockbuster.
Not in the Midwest, because the only two that were left were in Oregon and Alaska.
The Alaska one's just closed.
Oh, then it's the Oregon one that's still
I guess so,
It's all those hipsters.
Yeah, so people go all over the place, you come from all over and they go to this Blockbuster. And, Blockbuster was a good stuff. Like, we're talking about, like, old school feels, old school vibes. All y'all young'uns, you got, like, Netflix.
Y'all got it easy, You didn't have to get your mom or dad to drive you to the Blockbuster or walk to the block. I mean, the walking part wasn't an option for me because I lived out in the middle of nowhere. It would have been a 3-day walk.
There you go.
But it was a 15-minute drive.
There you go.
But you don't understand how hard it was to get someone to drive you there and then have the money to rent something, and then just be able to
get it back in time.
Get it back in time, not play late fees. And then, there was one time I was trying to buy alcohol, and I still had my Blockbuster Rewards card on there. And, they were getting ready to ID me, and then they saw that, and they were like, no, you're for sure over 21.
I still got a Blockbuster gift card somewhere, like $10.
Well, that's useless now.
Unless I go to Oregon.
Yeah, but are you going to spend, a couple $100 getting to Oregon and then, go just to use $10?
We'll see. That
might be in season 2.
So stick around, y'all. But, back to The Karate Kid. Great films. What do you think about the second film?
So the first film, I didn't get to finish because we got off on a tangent. The first film I thought was great. I love seeing the old cars.
Amazing.
I love seeing how, the 80s were. My mom actually recommended it to me because she saw it in theaters.
Wow.
That tells you how old my mom is, but we don't get into that because that's a very ungentlemanly.
Yes.
But the thing is I saw this movie and it really inspired me to finish up my stuff, and then there's some days where I'm just having a really crap day, and I just think back to the Karate Kid. I'm like, if I was Ralph Macchio, would I be able to get through it? Sure. It's just wax on, wax off type of thing. And, or wax on, wax off type of thing. Not the up and down. And then movie 2 was interesting because, they're in Japan.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing.
Mr. Miyagi's backstory. That's what
And, it really more so delved into the Mr. Miyagi backstory. And that was something that we were all longing for in one. We saw the war, and we saw, how he lost his family, kind of, but we really didn't see much of the backstory. It was really just that one scene that he got drunk in.
Yeah, pretty much. And then his wife.
Yeah. And then, in 2, we saw more of that, and we saw, how he really developed as a character and a person. And then in 3, I felt like 3 was almost a stretch.
Yeah. They should have stopped there.
At that point, it was really just a ploy for money for them. And it was kind of obvious.
Yeah, by 4, it was definitely obvious that they needed. No, I don't know why they went to 4 anyway.
I don't know why they did either, because I guess they were trying to go for a saga. But
they should have stopped at 3. Good trilogy.
Yeah,
the third one wasn't completely bad, but that's what it should have been.
The third one wasn't garbage, but it wasn't the greatest of the 3 anyway.
No. But now we're gonna go talk about the reboot with Jackie Chan and
reboot.
Will Smith's son.
The reboot.
It wasn't bad, but the way. So what do you say about the reboot? First initial thoughts.
Okay, so the reboot, I appreciate the fact that they had it in China and they were actually teaching kung fu.
Yes.
They weren't trying to pass off kung fu as a Japanese thing, because in reality, kung fu is Chinese. It's Taekwondo that's Japanese.
Yes.
And Jackie Chan, he's one of the best kung fu martial artists of this era. Sure, he was around the time towards the end of Bruce Lee's era. May he rest in peace. But Jackie Chan, Jet Li, they're both two that were. I'm sorry. He just pulled this up for me. Taekwondo is actually Korean. My bad on that. But the fact that Jackie Chan and Jet Li are probably the two guys that are martial arts masters in the entire world right now.
Jet Li's up there too. Bruce Lee was kind of the pioneer.
And the thing about it is Bruce Lee kind of pioneered that whole kung fu movie type of thing.
Yeah. Him and Chuck Norris.
Yeah, well, Chuck Norris was the same era as Bruce Lee. They were in Enter the Dragon together.
Oh, yeah. Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Steven Seagal. You have all these guys in there, but with Jackie Chan and Drunken Master and all these movies that he did, it's just it's classics.
Oh, yeah.
And to bring him back as a kung fu instructor to Jaden Smith I felt like was touching, also very moving, and it worked. The only downside is the fact that the storyline of Jaden Smith being in China, yes, his mom got a new job and whatever, but I felt like it didn't quite fit.
Didn't jive.
Yeah, it was like putting a square peg in a round hole. It didn't, it sort of worked, but it didn't quite work.
Yeah.
And nothing against Jaden Smith or anything like that.
It's one of his first movies, wasn't it?
It was one of his first movies, and but there is a reason why his dad's a far better actor than him.
Fresh Prince.
Yeah, Fresh Prince, right? You know, and the thing is, you know, there is a reason why Jaden Smith is, you know, kind of transferring over to music, which he's also not that great at, unfortunately.
Dang.
Again, my opinion.
Zinger.
If you guys have different opinions, please leave them in the comments below.
And no offense to Jaden Smith.
No offense to Jaden Smith. I mean, you know, but we are bigger fans of his dad than him. Yeah, that could just because of our generation or what have you. Like, we grew up with Men in Black. You know, just the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We, you know, iRobot. You name it. We probably
Pursuit of Happiness. That was
yeah. And, you know, like, you probably name a you know, I Am Legend.
Oh, great.
We've probably seen him. We'll do a Will Smith episode next season.
Stick around.
But you know, the new episode, it kind or the new reboot of it, it kind of delved deeper into Mr. Miyagi's story, his background, his, you know, why he's so upset, why he's rebuilding that, you know, Toyota that he's rebuilding.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I feel like that worked on Jackie Chan's side, but the addition of Jaden Smith in there, like, it
not so much.
It didn't really work, and it was like, minus Jaden Smith, it was a great movie. It was a great reboot. It was a great way to do that. But, you know, the love story between Jaden Smith and that little girl, and, you know, how they kind of melded that in with the Karate Kid timeline and, you know, everything. It just, to me, it just felt almost cheap, like a cheap reboot.
So, for me, like, you know, I've been a fan of the old school movies. I've always had those, you know, to a high standard. So when I saw the new reboot, you know, I kind of had an open mind, but also in the back of my mind, I was thinking, it won't be the same because, you know, it didn't have, you know, Ralph Macchio, it didn't have Pat Morita, and all that. And, you know, I was somewhat right. I mean, it wasn't the same, but it wasn't entirely bad. Like Wade said, there were plenty of good aspects of the film. But to tie all back to, you know, to the original film, YouTube Red, which we talked about in one of our previous episodes about streaming services, one of the original, I guess, series, is the series called The Cobra Kai. So this is set 30 years after the events of the first Karate Kid film, the original one.
The crane style and then broken legs and all that fun stuff.
So this is set 30 years afterwards, and it's talking about, I guess, the adult lives of Johnny and Danny. And, you know, Ralph Macchio's
such a generic 80s movies name.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, Ralph Macchio's character now owns a car dealership. He's making it big. He's wealthy. Johnny, on the other hand, has not gone so well. Like, after, I guess he peaked too early. He peaked in high school, won all those championships, lost.
We all know those people.
Yeah. He lost to Danny, and then after that, he just went on a downhill slope to being a drunkard that needs to pay his bills, and then his car gets wrecked. It's a great series. So if you really want to go back into that, and it ties back in well to the original film. So, you know, look at YouTube Red. You know, shout out to YouTube Red. Sponsorship, please. Por favor.
Yeah, that'd be nice to have our own original series, you know.
You got comedy gold right here.
Yeah.
But it's a great series, and I think it's that should be the kind of direction they should be going for future films. Because I heard that they're trying to make another film with the Jackie Chan character set, you know, after the event of the Jackie Chan reboot with Jaden Smith. And I think, you know, going from how the reboot went, you know, the 2010 film went, I don't think they should go along with it. They should go along with how the YouTube Red series is going and try to delve off of what.
Like after the
Yeah, instead of like trying to reboot the whole series and say like, okay, let's make a film of, you know, Johnny and Danny 30 years later.
I almost feel like the reboot movie with Jackie Chan was almost a mix of Karate Kid 1 and 2. Because, you know, they are in China, but they're still doing the same things that you found in Karate Kid 1.
Yeah.
And it was kind of unfortunate because, you know, like, it had the potential to be a really good movie.
Yes, it did.
You know, big names, big actors, you know, and Jackie Chan, like, come on.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like, we both grew up with Jackie Chan movies, and, you know, it's just like one of those things where we were stoked to see this. And then, you know, we were kind of let down. But I do feel like had they gone a different direction with the movies and how they did everything, and you know, going in more of a fact of, you know, just continuing 30 years later, I feel like that would have definitely been a better direction to take that franchise versus just reboot the whole thing.
I agree.
And it's been almost 10 years since that 2010 movie came out.
Yeah.
It's 2018 right now. It's been a while, and there hasn't been another sequel or anything like that. So I feel like the producers and everything like that don't necessarily feel that they should continue with the series, which is great because they like Creed here was saying they should probably continue with the Cobra Kai aspect of it all in YouTube Red versus the Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith of it all.
And if you want to try out like how that Cobra Kai TV or the web series is going, they got the first 2 episodes for free.
Yep.
You can check them out. Great films, series, and YouTube Red we talked about it earlier. It's a great service to have.
Now, little thing to add in here: we're not sponsored by YouTube Red.
We're not,
as we have said before, but we do appreciate their original series, the Cobra Kai. Now, if they choose to sponsor us,
please do.
Yeah, hint, hint, wink, wink. That would be awesome. But until then, I will be drinking my fountain brew.
And hashtag Cretanites.
Cretanites to get us our fountain brew or YouTube Red or whatever sponsorship that we can possibly get.
We just need more money for lights.
Yeah, we really need more money for lights. I mean, we're using a flashlight right now, like I said.
The garage light went out.
Yeah, the garage light went out, and it looks like my other garage light is about to go out. But yeah, leave your comments in the comment section below. Shoot us an email if you have any suggestions on what we should do for season 2, because right now we're in the process of trying to figure out season 2 and what we're going to do.
Yeah. We've got a few more episodes left until the end of this season. Thank you all for sticking around.
For sure. We have a special holiday episode.
Yeah, thank you all for supporting us and all that. And like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments below. What you thought about the new film. If you like the old films, hopefully you like the old films. And if you've seen a YouTube Red series, let me know what you think. And once again, we are slightly mediocre. Thank you for watching.
Bye.